Welcome, boys. Today we're going to be talking about atoms. There are three objectives for this video. I want you to be able to describe what an atom is, tell me what the subatomic particles in an atom are and what they do, and then finally I want you to tell me what an element is. Okay, so those are the objectives of this video. We're going to get going now. You've learned about atoms throughout your schooling career. Most of you, when I say the word atom, you're not surprised. It's not a new word. I just want you to understand that there are these small building blocks that make up everything. So all matter, we've learned what matter is in previous videos, is made up of atoms, these small building blocks. And atoms are made up of things called subatomic particles. Now just look at this word, subatomic. So atomic meaning atom and sub meaning smaller or below, okay? So submarine is below marine or subwater, underwater. All right, so subatomic means smaller than an atom and particles are just pieces of the atom. So subatomic particles are these things called protons, neutrons, and electrons. They come together to form our different atoms. We'll talk more about them in a moment, okay? For now, I want us to do a little videoception where we're going to watch a video watching a video. So we're going to look at this video as we zoom in on this person, their hair. We're going to go in and we're going to look at how small atoms are. So there we're in a single strand of hair. We zoom in even more into that single strand of hair and we get to the individual cells. That's what's represented there, okay? And then we're going to go into the cells a fair bit. Okay, there's the DNA coming up. Okay, going even closer. And then each one of those balls, well, let's get a little closer. There we go. Each one of those is an atom, okay? There are different types of atoms. We'll talk about those. Those are called elements. Okay, here is atom. So that's how far we had to zoom in just to get to an atom. We went inside here, we went inside the cell, we went inside parts of the cell, we went inside the DNA, and eventually we got to an atom, okay? And then you can see here, these things going around the side, those are the parts of the atom called the electron orbitals, or this is where you'd find an electron buzzing around inside there, okay? I went to the next slide by accident, but that's all I really wanted you boys to see was that atoms are incredibly small, okay? All right. And that they make up everything. So atoms come together to form structures, structures come together to form cells, cells come together to form living organisms. And that's in living things. In other forms, atoms come together to form bigger chunks, and bigger chunks come together to form things like tables, chairs, computers, okay? All right, so atoms. Atoms are these building blocks of the universe. They make up everything, okay? Here's a picture of an atom, or at least a representation of an atom, because we can't exactly draw what an atom looks like because it's not as simplistic as what we see over here. Okay, let me hit the pointer. What's happening? Anyway, so protons and neutrons are found inside the nucleus of the atom. Okay, nucleus is the center. It's this big thing over here, the structure made up of these positive balls and these gray balls. That's called the nucleus. It's right in the middle of the atom, okay? And those two different particles there, they're subatomic particles. The positive ones are called protons. The ones with the plus are called protons. And those ones are called neutrons. They don't have a charge. Then electrons are very small and they spin around the nucleus. So that's where these electrons are spinning round and round and round and round. So remember, three subatomic particles. We have protons and neutrons. They're found in the middle. And the middle is called the nucleus. That's a word you should remember. The center of an atom is a nucleus. Spinning around the nucleus is this very small subatomic particle called an electron, okay? So we'll talk a bit more about them later, but what I want you to know, the type of atom, also known as the element, is based on the number of protons in the atom. Okay, so we get different types of different types of atoms. Okay, let's talk about the different types of atoms we get. The different types of atoms are called elements. Okay, let's talk about, there's hydrogen that has one proton. Okay, so if you find an atom and it has one proton in the middle, it's called hydrogen. Okay, if we added another proton and made it two protons, then it would be helium. And if we could add another proton, it would turn into lithium. Okay, so these different types of atoms are called elements. And the only thing that makes them different is the number of protons. Okay, the electrons will change. Sometimes the neutrons will change the amount that there are inside an atom. But the one thing that remains the same is the protons. If the protons ever change, the type of atom you have completely changes. Okay? All right. You guys should have all seen this. It's called a periodic table. This is all the atoms we know of. Okay? They're all the different types. If you think of atoms as the building blocks, these are the different flavors of atoms. You get a hydrogen atom with one proton, a helium atom with 2 protons, lithium atom, 3 protons, beryllium, 4 protons, boron, 5, carbon, 6, nitrogen, 7, oxygen, 8, fluorine, 9, neon, 10, and so on up to 118 over here. All right. So, boys, I know I flew through that very quickly, but let's just make sure you've got it. You should be able to describe what an atom is. It's a building block of everything. You should tell me what atoms are made of, those 3 subatomic particles, and then tell me, well, which ones are found in the middle, that thing called the nucleus. Then I want you to be able to tell me what are elements, the different types of atoms. What makes elements different? The number of protons in it. And then they're summarized in the periodic table. All right. I know I went through that quickly. We're going to go over it again. We're actually going to talk about the periodic table in future videos. But if you're like, I'm still a bit confused, well, email me, message me. We can have a Google Meet. We can have a Google Hangouts, whatever it is. I can help you understand this if you're struggling, okay? Fantastic. Have a great day, boys.